the basics, how long have you been singing and playing and writing?
I've been in Nashville 7 years now. I moved here like right out of high school, and I've been doing it, I say professionally, probably about 5 years. I was in school for 2 years in Murfreesboro and just kind of wanted to learn as much about the business as possible before I really like put myself out there as an artist. So pretty much 4.5, 5 years now.
Okay. Now, you wrote the songs on your EP?
I wrote 2 of them. I really just wanted to cut great songs, you know, and I think that's so important for artists. I mean, if you look at artists like Reba and Martina and Rascal Flatts and Jason Aldean, like they write some, but they just all cut great songs. And so we narrowed it down to about 15 from probably a good like 200. And the 15 were songs that I wrote, songs that I got pitched, and so at the end of the day, for me, the best song won, and 2 of mine made it, so I'm glad they did, you know.
All right, and this was your Get Mad EP, right?
Yes.
And what was the process of recording that like?
It was crazy. My producer came to me, I was playing a show in Nashville, and he came up and said, "Who are you? I want to know who you are." That was in like September. And I was like, okay, cool, let's talk. And so we decided to make a record, and we started looking for songs around October, like end of October, after we met. And then we finalized the song process in probably January, so we looked for quite a long time. And I actually had sinus surgery like the last week of January, and we went in the studio February 15th of last year. This wasn't this year. And we cut the songs, and then I took a while to do vocals just because my sinuses were getting back to, you know, normal, and I had to basically relearn how to sing again because I had all this extra space that I didn't know what to do with, and I sounded so different, so I needed time to let it, you know, settle down. So we probably finished in June of last year, and I did a little 4-song sampler for CMA Fest and for my shows last summer to just kind of get people, you know, hearing the new stuff, but we hadn't finished the masters. And then we got all of our masters back in February of this year, so a whole year later. And I picked May as a release date just because I love the month of May, and I felt like there was so many cool things coming up with CMA Fest and my shows this summer that I just really wanted to kick off the summer right. So we just waited for that time and put it out, and we did a big CD release show in Virginia, and it's been great. I mean, so many awesome blessings have come from this EP. I just can't even tell you. I mean, the iTunes feature and the radio single, I mean, without having this body of work, like, I wouldn't have any of that. So I'm really thankful I waited and everything worked out like it was supposed to, you know.
During the process of it, was there any 1 or 2 songs in particular that were really fun to record?
I love Hit the Stage. I wrote that one, and it was really fun because my producer gave it a little different feel than how we wrote it, and he came to me and he said, well, I think you should change up this last chorus and you know, change up the song titles in it. I'm like, that's brilliant. So that was really fun, and we kind of just did that like on a whim during the recording process. And Powerless was really fun to sing. I'd been a fan of that song for 2 years before I cut it, so it was just like a dream come true singing that in the studio.
Were there any that were particularly challenging that took a lot of work, more than you expected?
I think Where Have I Been All My Life was the hardest for me, just because I didn't have much time with the song to get used to it and play it with my band, and you know, that was one of the last songs we found for the project, and I love it. It's a great song and a great like power ballad, you know, but I had to really, you know, make it different because the demo singer actually sounded a lot like me, and so I wanted to make sure that I put my spin on it and just didn't replace the demo singer, you know. So that was probably the most challenging, not because it's a hard song, it's actually really easy just because, I mean, I just wanted to make it my own, and that was the most challenging part.
Now, you've been playing for a few years now. Have you had any strange experiences during any live shows? Like, any weird things happen during shows?
Oh, so many weird things. I mean, every day there's a weird thing, but Probably the craziest was I was playing at the Taste of Chicago 2 years ago on 4th of July, and it was a beautiful day. It was like 98 degrees outside, and all of a sudden it just starts pouring down, and the stage, only part of it was covered, and I was out in the part that wasn't covered, and of course like the audience wasn't covered, and it just came out of nowhere. It was just massive downpour, and I almost got electrocuted because there was a wireless system, and yeah, I just almost got electrocuted on stage. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'd say that definitely counts.
Takes the cake.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think is next for you?
Hopefully a record deal. That would be my next goal. I mean, I have so much going on right now with like the radio single, and you know, I'm getting to open for like Low Cash in a couple weeks, and hopefully some other big ones that haven't been confirmed yet, but September's looking pretty good. And you know, I am totally self-contained being an indie artist, but I really would like that record deal to kind of like solidify everything I've been doing and just take it to the next step, you know.
What would be your ultimate goal with your music? What would be like when you reach that point you feel like you made it?
I mean, obviously I think probably winning a Grammy or something like that. I mean, that would just be surreal. But I mean, my goal with my music, and I'm gonna have to like get to a certain point to really be able to do it and do it well, but I want to create like a foundation for kids, but mostly like underprivileged kids that don't have access to like music or arts or, you know, poetry, whatever their like creative outlet is. You know, and I want to create, whether it's like a summer camp or just a foundation that like works with them year round and get mentors from whatever their field is to work with them, and then, you know, maybe twice a year do some kind of showcase to get them into their field, just because I think, you know, music is being taken out of the schools so much now to where people just don't have access to it, and a lot of people don't think that they can actually do it, you know, they don't think it's attainable, and it totally is attainable. You just really have to be dedicated, and, you know, to start from a young age is great. I personally didn't. I didn't start professionally doing it until I moved to Nashville. I mean, I sang in my church and everything, but I don't know. That's always been like my goal in life, to eventually do that. And I think when my music gets to a certain point, that I'll have that platform to be able to do that and do it right. So
where did you come up with that? Like, where does that inspiration come from?
I don't know. I just think that for me, like, music was such like a refuge, and I would literally just like lock my door and just blare the music, and that was growing up, like everything I had, you know. When I moved from Florida to Virginia when I was 8, and I knew nobody, and so I mean I had no friends when I first moved there, and I literally just, music was like my only friend, and you know, I didn't have the easiest childhood, you know, parents divorced and all that, and so I really just turned to music, and thankfully I had a great support system in my church and in my school, and my mom is a music teacher, and so I had that, but I just couldn't imagine like not having that. And I've met so many kids doing what I do. I try to go into high schools when I tour and talk to their music departments and that kind of thing. So many kids just say, well, we can't do it, you know, we don't have the money, or we don't have the resources, or, you know, my parents don't believe in me. But I just think a program like what I would like to do eventually would really help that. And if the kids start doing it and get serious about it and grow their craft, I think the parents would jump on board too, and they would see the parents kind of get behind them a little bit more and not see that it's like a hobby or something. So, I don't know. It's all in my brain right now.
That's awesome. That's a very cool idea.
Yeah.
I hope it works out for you.
Me too. I hope so too.
I think eventually it will.